Joanna, let us know when we're live. We'll get going. We're live. Okay. So agenda in front of us. Call the meeting to order. Is there any additions or changes to the agenda? We already have it in camera on here, right? Yes. As I see none, a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Thank you, Councillor Ferguson. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Start with CAO update. Mr. Kim.
Good evening, Your Worship and the members of council. Our CAO update starts with the health and safety. So far, no incidents are reported since October 5th, and those 3 employees waiting for the COVID-19 test result are back to work today. Our finance department reports that there were total 10 business licenses issued over the past month. They are continuing to support other departments in our budget drafting. Our operations department continues with a number of operations, including pothole repairs and winterizing operations. Our planning and development department is nearing a completion of 2021 work plan for the 2021 budget. There were total 12 calls for the fire department, including 1 fire and 2 missing person search and rescue. Final landscaping and site restoration work is progressing for the Sewage Lagoon project. Home Alone Safely and public skating registrations are full, and multi-purpose room is available for bookings. The Government of Alberta common areas have been open during circuit court and traffic court days. From the economic development front, 2021 work plan is scheduled to be completed within a week. To do this, a cross-departmental collaboration has occurred, and key performance metrics have been being developed. There were a number of stakeholder engagements, including Sawreach First Nation, Grand Prairie Regional Innovations Network, Government of Alberta Economic Development Specialists, a potential investor, and Alberta Parks for tourism opportunities, and Code Red Communications. A transportation survey has been drafted to understand the goods and service movement on our highways, and we are working with Alberta Transportation and Northern Lakes College for collaboration in the survey. We are also working on drafting a business activity survey to understand the microeconomy of the town in and out of itself. Investor package is being developed that'll include maps, land availability, and the town and the industry profiles and the commercial developers database. Other efforts include collaboration across the departments to develop the downtown revitalization plan, Main Street wayfinding and sidewalk deficiencies, Lesser Slave Lake weir and its effect on the waterway and the public beach availability, railway transportation routes, and manufacturing opportunities. Finally, a consultant selection is on the way to design and assist with analytics. That concludes my presentation, Your Worship, and please let us know if you have any questions.
Questions, comments from council. Councillor McGregor.
How many staff do we still have working at home?
I don't have a specific number. I can refer to the administration if you know of any specific numbers. That one will absolutely get back to you.
Okay, perfect. And question from a couple weeks ago with GFL, where are we as we're heading into budget with what we're going to do about our feel good recycling, and are we really recycling, and what are we locked in? Can you check on that for me too, please?
I'll refer that to the Director of Operations Department.
You just want to know when the contract ends?
No, I'd asked the question before about, are we really recycling? Are we throwing everything from the recycling depot into the garbage? We talked about how it makes us feel good to do that, but are we just throwing it away, or are we actually taking the recycling from the recycling depot to another recycling depot to do the proper process? Or are we not? Are we throwing it all in the garbage?
So they haul it all to Edmonton. They have a state-of-the-art facility in Edmonton, and We went and visited it about 3 years ago, and 99% of the recycling is recycled.
From GFL?
Yes. The only thing that they don't recycle is styrofoam.
Yeah, that's across the world.
There's only about 2 places in Canada that actually reduce styrofoam, just because it's so costly. Although it's one of the worst things for the environment, so.
Okay, so our Slave Lake and region, if they are recycling, then we're guaranteeing them that their stuff is going to a place in the city that's being recycled.
Yep.
Okay? That's it for me.
Okay, Councillor Gramack.
Hey, just have a comment. I heard it loud and clear today for directors. Can we all go to that microphone? Because the people watching online can't hear the answer. So even if it's a 5-second answer, can we all just go to that microphone? Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. That's supposed to be, I should have done that, said that already. Okay, other questions from council? I got a few about some of the economic development stuff. So first off, you guys are working on a survey for the transportation pieces. So the idea is to understand how group goods and services are going down the road. So how are you going to actually collect that data? Like, are we going and dropping this off at our trucking companies, or we're going to stop trucks as they're going down the highway, or like, I don't understand that.
So in collaboration with the Alberta Transportation and the college students will volunteer as a data collector, and the transportation inspectors will stop at the commercial inspection site there, all the traffic that are going in and out of our region. And we're going to do an in-person interview.
So the students would go out to the weigh scales and get that information?
Yep. They will go through really quickly. Probably each survey will take about 5 minutes. And it goes through really quick standard questions.
Okay. We'll have to advertise that good, because some of those truckers don't like stopping as it is, so.
They tend to listen to the inspectors really well.
Fair enough. I was more worried about what the conversations they have with us afterwards. So, okay. So ahead of us starting that, let us know, and that we're putting that out there. We'll get some communication out about that. The next one is, so business survey. You got a draft questionnaire is underway. I was curious about the logistics of how that's going to work, because Community Futures just did one with us involved in or whatever else. So I'm just kind of wanted to understand, when is that happening? How are we going to do it? And what will we gain out of there that we didn't get out of the last one?
So the survey is to capture all the activities that are born from within the town of Slave Lake. So we are surveying all 700 business licensees and potentially all the adjacent businesses within the region, and to understand their current market, future market, whether they're vendors and all the logistics in between, transportation, warehousing, distribution, as well as the supply chains. The cost that they pay to deliver goods and services from one to another. Who are the owners of those companies? The total dollar value amount that they transact per day, per month, per day, per season. Any potential opportunity to explore different markets, to connect, our region or our town into a different potential market, whatnot. Any opportunities to build around existing capacities, such as, we have a special refineries that could potentially serve petrochemical industries or any other things, byproducts of refineries and whatnot. So there's a lot of microeconomics data that we are hoping to collect.
Okay, so you're searching for some opportunities there to get a little bit more in-depth data about where things are going. Okay, got me. I believe in that. How are you actually going to collect it, though?
So in conjunction with the highway freight survey, goods and service survey, that information will complete the entire economy at a glance. So now we have all the highways, and we have a CN that we are intending to connect with, and then we have all the business holders within our town. And how we do that, for this one, it'll be probably mail-in survey. So
Mail
we
in,
will,
okay.
yeah, we'll develop a package of the survey questionnaires and
Okay,
we'll deliver maybe door to door, or we'll again hire students to deliver those things and collect at some certain point. If we could not fill all the gaps, we'll do some a phone survey as a follow-up too.
okay, sounds good. A few years ago, our Tri-Council Economic Development Committee created some of these like sector profiles for, one was designed for, businesses, the information you'd be looking at, visitors, the information you'd be looking at, and people who lived here, they'd be looking for that. I just wanted to make sure you had access to that information.
I most likely do.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Some of it's on the ECA website, just needs to be updated.
Yeah, and so I just, rather than start from scratch, there's probably a pretty decent starting point there for you, for sure. So make sure, if you don't have it, bug me, I'll go dig it up again and email it to you or whatever else, because I hate to start over. And an investor reached out regarding franchise opportunities. So I know I'm not looking for names of what kind of company reached out or what they did, but I'm curious to know the kinds of things that they were looking for when they reached out.
Yeah, so it's a current investor, and what they're looking for is businesses to help fill a space.
Okay.
So
Okay.
started initial conversations.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Leah. Councilor McGregor.
I got one more. Sorry, are you done?
Gibber.
Okay. Tasha, this one's probably for you guys. For the after-school programs that are being offered now, can we include the library and work with them? Because they have some staff and all stuff that they did after-school programs, but because of the size and the limitations, they would love to work with you guys and collaborate and partner on some after-school stuff, after the after-school program with you guys. I don't know if you didn't phone them.
That definitely would have been something we would have loved to have done if we had had any registrations into the program.
Oh,
Unfortunately, the program will not be running. That decision was made this afternoon.
because you have no program. Oh, okay. That's where they're kind of at. So they were hoping to bump in with you guys. Okay, well, I'll let them know that then, that they're in the same boat. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for council? Councilor Busk.
Sorry, Tasha, you were already up there, but with the first little initiation of hockey, how do you see the MRC things rolling out over there? Has it been going fairly good, or is there still people that are upset because they can't cheer, can't take their kids there and have them run up and down the arena like they normally do when their brother or sister are playing their sport?
So at the MRC, we have received 0 complaints. Of course, we know of people who are not thrilled with all the restrictions, but you're going to have that in any capacity. It's just general population. Not everyone's going to be 100% happy. But overall, I want to say it's the most successful year I've seen. Of course, it's my first year. But yeah, overall, it's been great.
Sounds good. Okay, any last questions for council? Going once, going twice. Okay, let's jump into reports and new business. Roland, checks over 50,000.
So good evening, your worship and members of council. The purpose of tonight's report is just to update everybody on the checks in excess of 50,000 that have been written from July 1st to September 30th. Overall, there's been 22 checks and ETF payments in excess of $50,000. Checks that are part of normal operations include payroll, utilities, RCMP costs, gravel and sand purchases, requisitions, and the disbursement of funds to the Alberta Social Housing Corp for the remainder of the funds held by the town since the 2011 fire. The Living Waters Catholic Regional Division received their requisition of $87,402, and the Housing Authority received their requisition for $73,279. At the request of the RCMP, payments are made by EFT. There was a tax refund of $75,000 as the entity who paid in error, and a different entity made the payment. Gravel was purchased for roads in the amount of $61,720. There's been 13 checks for capital projects. Associated Engineering includes 3 payments totaling $201,000 for work done on capital projects. Sewage Lagoon Upgrade Project includes 2 payments to Rough Rider International for a combined amount of $480,000. The Road Rehab Project include 3 payments to pave it for a combined total of $451,955. Hilltop Reservoir Project includes 3 payments to Shandos Construction Limited for a combined total of $694,000. There was a fire services vehicle, includes 1 payment to Whitecap for $67,743. The daycare demolition project included 1 payment to Straight Contracting for $141,000. And the combined payroll checks in excess of $50,000 for the period amounts to $521,000. And with that, if there's any questions.
Councillor Busk.
So refresh my memory here, RCMP quarterly payments. So at the end of the year, it's adjusted, like money is based off of a full contingent of officers. At the end of the year, we get a rebate of whatever hasn't been here for the span of the months.
There's an adjustment to and that's done on the first quarter of the year. So their year end is March 31st. So January, February, March, that adjustment's made on that their last quarter, our first quarter.
And this is the first year that this payment cycle has been done like this. Before it was more an actual cost of people that were actually working, not based on the full potential contingent, correct?
From the time that I've been here, yeah, there's been some adjustments, but it's normally on cost or what they actually used for the quarter.
Any other questions from council? Going once, going twice. Councillor Brandel. There you go.
I move that we accept this as information.
Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Thanks, Roland.
Thank you.
Committee updates. We'll start with intermunicipal. They haven't had a meeting. Watershed.
So we had our AGM on October 2nd in High Prairie. We just talked about our year in review. We did some bylaw reviews. We are actually going to establish a memorial bursary called the Elliott Roche Memorial Bursary, and it's going to be for post-secondary students pursuing an education in sciences. So that's in honor of Brian Roche and Brian Elliott, who are longstanding board members with the Watershed. And that's about it for Watershed.
Okay. Any questions on that? I wasn't at the last chamber meeting there. I heard Leah did a fantastic job, but I don't know if any other councilors wanted to talk about the chamber meeting from last meeting. Go ahead.
So we talked quickly about our 2020 Labor Solutions Series. Leah came in and did a fantastic presentation on economic development. It was actually our biggest attended meeting since our executive director has ever hosted one, 37 people in attendance, which was fantastic.
37?
37.
Wow.
We had representation from right across the board. It was really good. Some key points that I brought out of it were, so the Canada Alberta Job Grant has sent some monies up into our region. And it is for training programs for current employers to help pay employees to up their training. So they are eligible for up to 2/3 of training up to $10,000. For example, if you need a class 1 driver and you have a class, 3 driver, they will pay up to the training amount for that, 2/3 of the training to help your employees. So the contact for that is Matthew Holden. And that's about it, I think.
Okay. I see no other counselors adding anything, so, and no questions. Housing.
Yeah, so we're going into, So we're going into budget, and we've created a budget committee to oversee that. First meeting is on the 20th. And our goal is for no increase to the requisition once again. COVID expenses, housing had approximately $11,000 a month in extra expenses for both the lodge and the social. So the government is reimbursing them, thank goodness. We weren't sure if the lodge was going to be reimbursed, but thankfully that won't be coming out of requisition. Quite a few vacancies in the lodge at the moment. The Wabasca Seniors Facility has opened now, and we've lost about 4 of our residents to that new facility. We were expecting about 12 in total, so there's still probably a few more going. So we're going to be down in rent, basically. That is what that means. The building project, interesting. The GOA wants us to tender to private sector. I think you might have touched on this a while ago.
Yep.
Go to the private sector to take over the building, which is a very hard sell to the private market when the average rents in housing are $120 to $350 a month, and the rest are subsidized by government. So the private sector really can't afford to take that over. Numbers just don't work. So I don't know what the fate of our building is going to be because of that. We're going back to Plan B. We've asked them to go back, and we've got the money from the grant, and we've got the money from the building sale of the Fish and Wildlife Center facility that was sold, and that's going towards this project. So we've asked them to go back with both these amounts plus the 4.5 mil and see what they can build. And we have got no answer on that, so more to come on that. COVID, the lodge has gone down into lockdown a couple of times in the last couple of months as our numbers climb in our area and Heart Rivers area. But the due diligence has paid off so far because we've had 0 cases in any of Heart River lodges. So they're really doing a really good job there. And just before Thanksgiving, the lodge sent out a letter to all the residents' families in the lodge, asking them to use caution and when they're coming and going and gathering for the weekend. So again, the due diligence is really paying off. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Questions? Councilor McGregor.
Is there, are they taking applications then for their vacancies in the lodge?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll give you a tour and the whole bit. You bet.
Any questions? Councilor Ferguson.
Has there been a substantial amount of messaging that's gone out, just that there's some vacancies in there, or
Substantial
has there
amount
been
of.
any messaging that's gone out? I just like through our social media channels or
I
anything
don't
like
think
that?
so, no, yet, but I think they do a couple of times a year when, yeah. I'll actually ask about that because that's a good idea.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, health, sorry, Joy.
No problem. So Tri-Council Health, we haven't met since the last one, but I did meet with Greg Cummings, Cindy Harmada, and Zoomed with Dr. Verna Yu. So we are still working on some behind the scenes things happening in AHS. I also have a meeting tomorrow because I'm sure some of you saw the numbers and the things that came down today with the job cutting with the laundry and the food and that kind of stuff. But we knew that a year ago. I had brought that, and it's been like on the table and coming. And so, but I do have a meeting tomorrow at noon to ask some specific questions. Laundry services, most of the big cities and that laundry services are already shipped out, and they haven't done them in the hospital in a few years. It will make a difference difference though in our region. So I'll be doing some checking and some more checking. They're kind of getting tired of me asking the same question, but I don't really care. So I want to know exactly what that means for our area, the numbers, are we, losing employees, how that's going to work, our food service, that kind of stuff. It used to be, cooked, and now, to my understanding, it feels like it's coming out of a pail, which you can make cookies out of a pail. It's not that bad, but they're feeling that, some healthy food, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, that kind of stuff. How are we going to keep that out with some of these cuts? So they'll be on my questions tomorrow at noon for a follow-up. I'll bring that back to you even next week if it's not the committee of the whole, just kind of the answers that I found. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, comments? See nothing. Tourism.
We haven't met, but we are doing the AGM. It has to be done before November 30th. So I'm just trying to figure out with the board on dates on that. So.
Okay. Go for it.
Is there public members on the Tourism Society?
Yes.
Yes, and do you fill out an application? There's a few people in town looking for something to do that have asked about different boards. So I just kind of wondering, how do people get on the boards for public? Do they just come to the AGM, or is there an application to fill out, or?
Is our application online, Joanna, for that one?
All committee board applications are online.
Okay, they're online. Okay, perfect. Okay.
I don't think there's one for tourism, though, is there?
I think was when they come to the AGM.
Yeah, it's, I believe it's voted on at the AGM. It's most I don't even.
A lot less informal. I think you
don't-
just go to the AGM. That
Yeah.
would be the thing I would stress to you. Library.
Gonna write my notes. Okay, so we have our plan of service that's good till 2023, and we are going to leave it that way because we had input from the community and from the public library services, and we did that. But we just updated it with some words like pandemic and online so that we can switch some of our stuff to online to still meet the goals of the library and the needs of the library. We were hoping to be able to partner with the town for the after-school program, but that's not happening either. And we had one of our scholarship people come in person to our meeting and receive a scholarship for the legacy from the fire book. So that was really nice. And we have a room for a local artist from January 27th to February 24th and April 14th to June 16th to be displayed in the library. So just a couple opportunities for any local artists if they would like to put some things to display in the library. That's a good chance. And ahead of time if you have to kind of gather a few things or paint or do a little bit more. Otherwise the library is still doing well. They're proctoring a lot of exams as well right now. So that's kind of helpful to the community. So yeah, and they're still keeping up on that.
Okay, any questions? As I see none, naming advisory.
So we actually met today, but the majority of my update ties into in-camera tonight, so we'll save it for there.
Okay. Community futures.
We had our meeting last week. So far this year, we have had 72 loan inquiries. In total of our regional relief and recovery funds, which is that $40,000 loan from the government. We have approved 26 of those loans totaling $770,000. We're going to have some workshops coming up for both Slave Lake and High Prairie. 3 separate workshops from October to December, topics being design thinking, lean canvas, and building resilience. Brenda Robinson's customer service workshop just happened last week, and apparently it was fantastic, and it's going to be available on the Community Futures website for any business to use. She also has 2 more sessions coming up this month. Dates are available on the Community Futures website, and LeaderCast Women is coming up on November 5th. Always a big event. This year, unfortunately, we have to limit tickets. So if you want tickets for that, there's only 50 available. So scoop them up early. Mini Monster Halloween is usually run by the Slave Lake Chamber of Commerce. However, Community Futures is taking on a larger role in this year. And do you have any updates on that?
No, it's all out and ready to go though, like the application to register for your business and everything is ready to go. And then we'll come and put little pumpkins in your window, and we're gonna keep it of a time frame from 10 to 2 instead of having it like in previous years. Last couple of years, it's just been all day, and we thought if we had it from 10 to 2, that would give the businesses the opportunity and the community the opportunity to still, you know, stay within the COVID rules and then be able to still do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that will be a go-ahead on Saturday, October 31st. Watch for all the promoting on that. And that's it.
Any questions? CC.
Okay, so we are back up and running. We will be doing all our meetings through Skype right now. I did offer to use the council chambers as it's set up properly and gets cleaned, but the college feels like they would just like to keep it at Skype. So for some of us, that's kind of, how do you say that nicely? It's hard to get a lot done through Skype and especially in some Skype, because if you don't, and that's what they use, you can't see their face, you're not sure who's talking. I struggle with that. So I may be the only one. Well, no, I think there's only one that doesn't want to meet, but they trump the rest of us. So that's going to be a bit of a hard sell here until the college opens back up. They're at their 25% capacity is all they're allowing into their building, and so we can't have any meetings there. The academic upgrading team are doing very well for our college, so that's very, very good to hear. 160 laptops for all the NLC campuses around the region have been purchased for all the online learning that's going on instead of in-person learning. And we are short. We've lost a couple of board members just having a lot of other commitments on their plates. So we're looking for like an oil and gas sector, maybe like a mill or a lumber sector, and just a couple other regular people that would like to help with education for the students there and bring resources, because we get money every year from the provincial government to spend to help with education programs, well, like workshops, that kind of stuff. And so we just need a couple more like public business members. So if anyone is interested in that or knows someone, please reach out to me and then I'll put them in contact and get them an application to fill out.
Are you guys advertising that already?
We're just going to, we just had our meeting and yeah, it's just going out now. So I thought, well, this is a good venue to, if people are watching or rewatch and they would like to be part of it, we meet once a month. And again, you can do it from the comfort of your own home right now. So yeah, works good.
Okay. Any other questions? As I see none, MPC.
We met on October 5th. We had approved a secondary suite and also home-based business in the form of music lessons.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Any questions? None. Okay. SDAB, I think there was a meeting coming up or they had one. Okay. But because it's now a regional board, it can be a bunch of the public members. And so sometimes council isn't there. But apparently we haven't had one. Waste. You guys met there at the end of September?
Yeah, we met September 29th. So we now have a new commission manager with the CAO of the MD retiring. So it's Barry Kalinowski. It's maybe a little early to tell, but it looks like the waste levels are up a little bit. So when you're dealing with a volumes game, that looks optimistic, but maybe a little premature to tell that definitively. The requisition amounts will remain unchanged. So at around roughly 300K between the town and the MD. And right now, I do believe there are 4 new competitors in town dealing in the garbage business or the waste business. So competition is never a bad thing when you're a customer, so. And that's, yeah.
This is true. Questions? Councillor McGregor.
Did you ever find out about the take it or leave it, how the take it or leave it's working, or if it's open? It's closed. Is it gonna be closed forever? Is it just closed because of COVID, or what's that?
Closed for the foreseeable future.
Closed for the foreseeable
My
future?
understanding with the COVID restrictions and everything, and then people coming in and it's a hazard with people scavenging and stuff like that, so.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Airport.
Have not met.
Wildfire Legacy haven't met. Big thing going on behind the scenes, obviously, is trying to get bookings. I know administration there, that town administration, that the corporation contracts to do the operational side of things has been trying to put together some kind of package box, you know, something we can market to say, hey, have your Christmas party still with us, and this is what it would look like. So waiting to see what they come out with there. The big one is that I expressed in the past there is with the daycare being closed, they come to us for some rent forgiveness. So we did put in an application to the federal government there to do a cost share program where the federal government puts in a bit, they put in a bit, and we put in a bit. It still results in us taking a hit. It's lower than what we normally have, but it's better than zero. So we were approved for that, and the money's already come into our bank account. Additionally to that, the board and kind of the leadership of Tri-Council there pushed out to the minister looking for some help in the funds that they get for the $25 daycare program is basically a lump sum of money, and they pull money out of there for their operations to offset their costs, which then helps provide daycare at $25 a day. So long story short, we were advocating to get some leniency in that money to be able to, just because we're not open and people aren't coming doesn't mean their expenses just stopped. And so we did get a letter back from the ministry indicating there was a possibility that those funds could be used. And so right now the daycare is working closer with the ministry to see what that actually means. And so we got that about 10 days ago, and as of last week, they were still sorting through it. So hopefully something can come out of that. Any questions? Protective services.
Have not met.
Disaster services. What?
So disaster services, we meet 4 times yearly. I think we're behind on that.
Yeah, well, I think we're supposed to meet once yearly.
Once yearly? We changed it? Yeah.
To review, we're supposed to meet once a year to review the kind of our disaster emergency response plan. And it's kind of went by the wayside, but I'll work with Joanna offline and our CAO to bring a little more attention to it. It's usually something we did in the spring.
Yeah, and we missed it, so, okay, thanks.
Okay. Northern Alberta Mayors and Reeds Caucus hasn't met. Northern Alberta elected leaders, they met in a Zoom call here about 2 weeks ago, which I sent you guys the minutes for it. So with that, I have nothing more to add. Motion to accept the committee updates as presented. Thank you, Councillor Gramlich. Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Management task list. Any questions from council? Going once.
Can we reach out and see if we've ever got any response back about that outdoor piano? To the region, I see they're back up and running and they're offering a couple of things. So maybe they have their board and they're up and running. I just wondered if it's something that's still on their mind, or with the current situation, maybe not, but we could get that off our list if it's not. Thank you.
Any other questions? Motion to accept management task list as information. Thank you, Councillor Ferguson. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Looking back to my agenda. Mayor's Corner, short and sweet. Short and sweet. Do I even know how to do that? I'll try. A couple of things. I was excited to see that we did our organizational meeting tonight. And so not a huge amount of changes in our committees, and John will be sending that information out there. But you know, the big thing is the realization that we're 12 months away from this all being over. And so, yeah, you look back on the last 3 years and we've had a number of challenges and things we've had to deal with, from emergencies on our back door to emergencies on our front door to COVID emergencies that hit us worldwide. And so you struggle. Sometimes you feel like your wheels are spinning and you're not accomplishing a whole lot. But I also look at the fact that I am thankful that I look around that we have a good team here at the town of Slave Lake. And I also look, especially COVID. COVID's a great, way to kind of gauge how things are going. And, I look around our community and there's a lot of businesses that are doing okay. Our industry seem to be doing okay. Our people seem to be doing okay. Our schools seem to be doing okay. We've got a few little more curves in the line painting than I expected, but for the most part, we're doing okay. And so, sometimes we have to celebrate the fact that we're doing okay, as sometimes as good as it's going to get until things get back on track. So I can tell you more than ever, I am very proud to be in Slave Lake and feel very fortunate, because I think there's a lot of worse places in the world to be right now. There's a lot of worse places to be in Alberta. So I just want to say thank you to our team, the ones sitting beside me in these council seats and across. It was just, we were normally all one, but and our administration, because I think things are on track, and that comes from all the hard work of the people that are here. So everybody should give themselves a pat on the back. That being said, people that shouldn't give themselves a pat on the back, the most frustrating thing that I've experienced in the last 7 days, blows my mind. So I will say, behind the scenes, we've been lobbying to keep our bird observatory open. And so haven't really touted the horn there, but we were able to work with industry. We had a number of, basically the forest industry step up. We had kind of a pot of money that the provincial government decided, hey, we're going to save $55,000 by closing the bird observatory for 6 months of the year. For those that don't know, we literally get thousands of people that go out there to visit. Kids from our region are using it for field trips. We have schools coming from outside of our region, heavy First Nation Indigenous population using that facility. Even in the winter months, we see over 1,500 visitors. And so we push the government to say, come on, guys, $55,000, let's keep this thing open. It's great for our region. We're trying to do economic development here. We're trying to bring people here. We're trying to, wave a flag, and this is a big part of it. It literally is probably, aside from the beach, arguably the most important thing in the provincial park that they have created. And so industry stepped up and said, hey, listen, we're going to put in $35,000 that goes towards a bunch of the programming that goes on. We'll help out. This isn't going to happen every year, but we'll help out this year. We want to keep things moving and on track. And the provincial government said, you know what? Okay, we'll keep it open and we'll deal with our $20,000 operationally to keep the center open. And so I didn't really toot the horn, because I want to make all the things go through, and sometimes the provincial government wants to make a big announcement about it. And so I let our council know, and I let our tri-council know, because we've been lobbying together as a group. Marie and I were on a call with the ministry there to try and fight to make this happen, and felt like we're on the right path. And I went away for a couple of days, Jasper, at the end of September, and I came back and checked in with the Bird Observatory to say how the thing's going. And basically the feedback I got is, well, we haven't heard anything when we talked to the administration there. They said they haven't heard anything from the ministry. So after following up, what we have learned is that the ministry has now changed their mind. So after saying yes, now they're saying no. And so in my whole time in politics, which, I haven't been here for 50 years, but I've been here for 10. And it's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, that 1 week it's, hey, these are people's jobs, these are people's futures. This is our whole part of our economic development plan. We're working towards something. We want to celebrate something. And you say yes 1 week, and then a couple of weeks later you say no without any notice. We wouldn't even know if we had a phone and started bugging and doing whatever. And this isn't over billions of dollars. It's over $20,000. which is still a lot of money. I don't want to discount that, but we're talking millions and millions and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in budgets across the thing here. It blows my mind. So I did reach out to our MLA and say, like, this is stupid would be my exact word I would use. And the MLA was looking into it, but we'll continue to advocate for it, but it's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So we'll see what happens with that, but very, 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 very frustrating and extremely, extremely disappointing that that's the way that they do business. Because I think that's not the way we would do business. I don't think anyone that did business like that would be very successful for very long. So that's my short and sweet update. With that, I would say the rest of our meeting is in camera. So I'd entertain a motion to go in camera. Thank you, Councillor Ferguson. Any